Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the new Colorado ZR2 Bison. We're going to find out if this is really a Ranger, Raptor, Killer, or Destroyer, whatever you want to call it. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Carl Malone Chevy here in Park City, Utah for giving me some time with this Colorado. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. I'm also going to include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So powering this is a turbocharged 2.7 liter 4-cylinder that goes to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 310 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 16 around town and then 16 on the highway. Before I move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, I think this is really cool with this kind of like bulge here in the center being blacked out. Creates some nice contrast, makes the Colorado look a little bit more aggressive as well. And then popping down below, the Colorado's headlight design, really sharp looking. You can see this little accent piece down below. We've got ZR2 here on the front end, and notice how this is darker in coloration compared to the rest of the truck. And there's a lot of painted elements here on the front end. You can see this whole section's painted and that is painted, and then also down below. Now we do have fog lights with the truck as well as recovery points. You can see AEV there with the license plate area. This is a bumper from AEV, so not only are they lightweight, they're hardcore as well. And then you can see underneath we do have some extra skid plate protection with this package as well. And putting it all together, that is one mean front end. I mean, look at that. That's so cool. Now our turn wheel setup is 315 by 70 by 17 in the front and over in the rear. So yes, we do in fact have 35-inch tall tires on this Colorado. And we've got the kind of like cool beadlock capable wheels. Notice the AEV logo there in the center. I think the style looks really good. And then I love these tires. Huge fan of these tires. I've talked about this. You just can get a lot of life out of them, and they're also really good off-road. Now, something that's really important for the Colorado is you actually have upgraded bump stops with this. The Canyon AT4X AEV, that's basically the same truck as this, doesn't get that. So even though the Colorado's less money, it has technically a better suspension system, so it's going to be able to take large impacts a little bit better than its Canyon sibling. It's going to make this even more competitive with the Raptor. Got these huge fender flares. I mean, those are absolutely enormous. We've got this rock rail protection, and I like how it kind of comes up on the body a little bit rather than just being a thin little rail. So it's actually going to protect some of the bodywork here on the side on top of that. And then you can see again, giant fender flare in the rear. Got the ZR2 Bison logo here on the back, which is really cool. And then Multimatic shocks with this. You can see the upgraded Jounce bump stops that they've added from Multimatic, by the way. That's why they're in the same coloration as the shocks themselves. Now this isn't a perfect side profile, but you guys kind of get the point. With those 35s, this thing sits really high and it just looks fantastic. Now this does come with a normal Colorado key fob, so we've got our lock and unlock function, remote start. We've got the Chevy bow tie there on the back, and pop it open. And speaking of the back, the tailgate is dampened. Maybe it's because we're at high elevation, it lowers slower. Anyways, you still have this cool area, which is like little storage, strainable. And nice, we've got bed liner, we've got an outlet here. And yes, they have mounted the tire in the bed. A lot of people have been critical of this. I think it's really cool because first off, it looks great. And secondly, it is just way more practical to get this tire to replace another tire if it's in the bed versus underneath the truck, and then it'll stay clean. That's the third thing. Because if you're off-roading, you're going to get a bunch of debris and everything underneath the truck, and so then the wheel and the tire just get caked, and then they're almost unusable if you actually have to use it. So this is just, it makes more sense. I understand it gets in the way of this, but I think it makes more sense. Anyways, lifting up the tailgate, it's light, it's easy. This isn't too crazy, just Chevrolet, you got Colorado, little AEV badge. We do have an upgraded bumper here in the back, which I don't know, I think it's pretty cool looking. Got the recovery points as well. And Yeah, let me know what you guys think about the looks on the exterior, but I think this is probably the best looking midsize pickup truck out there today. And this leads us inside. So being a ZR2, you've got the ZR2 interior, which I'm a huge fan of. I actually like the gray and the neon stitching. And they made these seats so that they're easy to clean. That's kind of the point of these seats. And you can see with the under seat. Oh, I have to do the handle, I forgot. So you gotta do the handle, but there is storage underneath. Like most midsize pickup trucks, not a massive amount of space there. We do have some cup holders, vents down below, the little USB port. And this is what people are talking about, why they don't like the spare tire here on the inside. You can see it blocks that half of the rear window, which I understand that. But also this is manual with the operation. And then headroom back here is pretty good. I mean, it's a kind of like a square cab, right? Like most pickup trucks. Now take a look at the front door panel. You can see again with the gray trim and the neon stitching. All of our window controls, we've got our mirror adjustments, memory seat function, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, AEV there on the headrest. You can see perforated all down the center. All of our adjustments here on the side. And payload on this is $999. $999. Anyways, we've got trailer brake controls. You've got the opening for the hood, and then this is cool again with the trim, and then I like the camo print around the vent. That's kind of fun. Little animation. Fancy. So here's a quick look at the steering wheel. We've got nice trim all around. Radio controls on the back. We've got practical controls here in the front, including for like our cruise control, heated steering wheel button. This is for the center screen. And then you have the turn signal windshield wiper stock. Now the center screen's pretty cool. So just like other Colorados, you can scroll through, see different bits of info depending on what you want the screen to display. I think it's cool how customizable the screen is. Definitely gives it a more custom feel. Now this is where things get real exciting. So we've got Chevy's 360 camera system, which I still think is the best in the business for a mid-sized pickup truck. And, well, until it lagged. There we go. But you can even see underneath the truck. So, I guess you can look at all your extra AEV skid plates. But it's just cool. With all the different camera viewpoints, I think these are kind of unnecessary. If you ask me, it's just kind of more of a flex. But it's still a solid system to have. Now, we still have the light controls built into the infotainment system. I kind of hope Chevy gets rid of that eventually. Rest of the infotainment system, though, is easy to use, quick response time. With the screen, you got the shortcut bar. And then notice that we've got physical controls for all the climate stuff. So, dual zone climate. We have heated and ventilated seats with this, so it's kind of more on the luxury side. And then down below, we've got our controls for our front rear locking differentials. We've got your auto stop start, your hazard lights, lane departure. You can see with the auxiliary, and then twirled on all the windows at once. We've got our wireless phone charging pad. Shifter here for the 8-speed automatic. And then we've got our drive line select here and our drive mode select. So the drive line is a 4-wheel auto system. You also have a 2-speed transfer case, and then tons of different drive modes. Coolest one's off-road, and then we've got, wait for it, Baja. So pretty cool with that whole setup. Got more camo print kind of throughout, and I like the stitching. Good storage in the center console as well. And then this is cool with the camo on the dash, and then ZR2 logo. Nice trim overall. Pretty normal glove box. Just a regular mirror, and then we actually get a sunroof. It's always a nice feature to have, just a regular one. The Ranger Raptor does not have a sunroof. So here's our window sticker on this Colorado ZR2. You can see that we've got all the standard equipment, and notice 3-inch lift with Multimatic dampers. So already have that whole setup. But yeah, tons of standard equipment already come with this. $46,800, and this thing that's really cool about the ZR2 compared to like the Ranger Raptor is you can get a base ZR2 33-inch tall tires, really capable off-road pickup truck for less than 50 grand if you do not care about getting all the fancy options. Now the AEV package does add quite a bit, $11,700, and again, Multimatic jounce control dampers. That is the big thing with the Colorado versus the Canyon. You've got all the other items added, like the skid plates and everything. And then this has, you know, obviously the stuff that makes it loaded up. So why it's, you know, got the blacked out stuff on the outside, and you got the nice stuff with the seats and all the cameras and all of that. You can see the axle ratio is actually a 3:4:2. Interesting. But there's your total MSRP, $64,635. Now this particular truck is sold, so we're not going to be driving it or anything like that. I did drive the Canyon, And outside of me jumping one of these trucks, you're not going to be able to tell the difference with the on-road driving with this. And also, full tank of gas and almost 500 miles of... That's cool. So, point I want to make quickly is this compared to the Range Raptor. I understand that, yes, this is more expensive than a Range Raptor. Those start at $57,000, and then, you know, loaded up one's $59,000. This has bigger tires. The Ranger Raptors all have markup on them, pretty much. There are a few dealers that might not, but most of them are going to, you know, be over MSRP, so you'll be paying this much, if not more, on a Ranger Raptor anyways. But even if you got MSRP to MSRP, this, in my opinion, is just a better pickup truck. I understand it doesn't have the V6 under the hood like the Ranger Raptor, but what this does have is tons of really good off-road tech that makes it just as competitive with the Ranger Raptor. Bigger tires, more skid plate protection. This one is fully set up for off-roading. The Ranger Raptor, you have to change the side steps to real rock rails, and all. There's some modifications you have to make that would very easily bring you up to this price point, and you still would not have 35-inch tall tires. And I think that these shocks ride better than the Fox shocks, just my personal take, driving both of them back-to-back the other week. Let me know if you're team Canyon/Colorado or team Ranger Raptor, but even though I'm not in the market for a mid-size pickup truck, if I were to get one of these offered mid-size pickup trucks, it would be ZR2 Bison.